What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Black, your internet, relationship, and breakup coach. Today's topic, this is exactly how to break no contact with your ex. I'm going to give you what to say and how to say it. It's very important, so definitely stick around. If you've been doing no contact for some time and you have gotten to that breaking point and that threshold and you're looking for the right way to do this, this is the video for you. So it's going to have an actionable step-by-step text sequence. Again, it's not too complicated, and after you watch the video you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so let's just jump into it without any further ado. So before we get deep into the rabbit hole of what exactly to send in a text message or what to say if you've been doing no contact for some time, you're in pain right now and you're hurt. You've done everything else in your power to get them back. It's not working and you're ready to break. I understand this. Before we get into that, I need you to take a second to recap and understand, why are we here in the first place? If you watch other videos, and maybe this is your first time watching, essentially the reason breakups tend to happen, for the most part, is because your ex has lost feelings and attraction to you, okay? And maybe your ex might have told you certain things about why they're leaving. Maybe you didn't get along with their family, or it's a long distance relationship. Maybe there were issues that happened during the span of the relationship. All of those things do matter, but ultimately, if their attraction for you was high enough, they would stay. This is why, if you look back into the past about how things were going in the relationship, a lot of these issues existed 3 months ago. They existed 6 months ago. But because your ex's attraction for you was high enough, they stayed. Okay, so when attraction is high, people tend to overcome whatever barrier, whatever issues. They're more willing to communicate. Okay, the higher attraction, the higher there is motivation to make it work. Okay, so the mere fact that they dumped you means that you must understand and embrace that their attraction for you is low. Meaning, somewhere deep down, your ex has assessed the relationship and they do believe that they have better prospects, or they would fare better outside of the relationship. They'll find a better partner. Their life would be more meaningful and happier without you. Now, these are very negative things to say, so I'm sure your ex did not tell you this. They might have told you, you never know what will happen in the future. I will always love you. Well, if they will always love you and they're choosing to leave, understand they are misrepresenting their feelings. Okay, I'm stressing that here so you deeply understand the consequences of sending a message first. This is a person who believes that they are slightly better than you. Okay, this is someone who thinks that their value is higher than you. There's an imbalance of respect. There's an imbalance of attraction. There's an imbalance of value, at least in your ex's mind. Now, the average person doesn't handle a breakup well. And maybe you're one of those people. Maybe you chased your ex. Maybe you double texted. Maybe you begged and you pleaded for months on end. What that has done is that has further increased the separation between you and your ex, and they truthfully believes that they are better than you. Okay? Because after all, why are you chasing them? Why are you begging them if you are their equal? Right? Why are you still here? Okay, so this is where we're coming from. Now you implement no contact. What no contact does is, absence makes the heart grow fonder and scarcity creates value. I've made several videos about this. The quickest way to get anyone's attention is to remove yours. So if your ex was neglecting you, ignoring you, taking you for granted, the quickest way to raise your value is no contact. So let's say you've been doing this for some time. What should happen naturally is that your ex's attraction for you will start to creep up. Their respect for you will start to increase. And this will take some time. You and your ex have history together. You set a precedent by constantly making mistakes, by putting them on a pedestal, by maybe not being attentive, by being toxic or making mistakes in the relationship. So giving them time and space works in your favor, but it will take some time. And the issue with no contact is that it can be emotionally draining. You're going through a hard time. This is difficult for you, okay? But you need to stick with this. Now, let's say you've done no contact for a month. Let me just say, based on what I've seen on average statistically, if you've been doing no contact for less than 3 to 4 months, you really have not done it long enough, okay? You need to give your ex enough time to come to terms with the decision that they made. Give them enough time to actually process and remember the good times and start to see you in a different light compared to how they saw you at the end of the relationship, which was usually the worst of times. They saw you at your weakest, at your most vulnerable, at your most insecure. You said and did all of the worst things that you should have done. Okay, so you need to give them that time. So I say that here first before we get to the message, just so if you've been under that 3 to 4 month mark, just stick with it a little bit longer. It's always better. You have more power and leverage to renegotiate for a healthy relationship if they come to you first. Okay, they walked away, let them come back. It's almost like you get fired from a job. You don't stay outside the job and quit. Keep knocking at the door and thinking that you're going to get hired back. You do the most self-respecting thing. You leave the premises of the company, and if they made a mistake, they'll call you back. That's the ideal scenario. Now, the essence of this video: how do you break no contact? You've done this for some time. You've given your ex time and space. You've done this properly. And if you're confused, watch some other videos, book a call so we can talk about it. You can get clarity. Just make sure you've actually done this. You didn't reach out to them, their friends, their family. You didn't watch their stories. You didn't send emails or letters. Okay. I've had people who tell me, oh, I post secret status on WhatsApp, and she sees, and in those statuses you're saying, I love you. I mean, like, that's not no contact. So let's assume that you did this properly. You did this the right way, and you understand the concept, okay? As they have taken you for granted, they think their value is better, but staying away for 4 months shows that you have self-respect. It shows that you have emotional self-control, that you value yourself. And these are the things you want to exude and convey during a breakup. So good job if you have stuck with it the right way. Now, before we say the message, and trust me, we will get to that, I promise. I'm stopping here to highlight. I had a client that I just spoke to recently who we spoke in February. He was going through a breakup. We talked about no contact. He implemented it, and he stayed away. Around April or May, he, sent a text message, which is what I call a Hail Mary, which you're about to do right now. He sent a text message, and him and his ex got back together. They got back together. Everything was great initially, okay? And right now, we're talking again in September because she broke up with him again. Now let's get to the message. All you have to say, if you want to break no contact with your ex, all you have to say is, hello, how are you doing? Hey, I thought about you. These are different examples. Hey, I was playing XYZ video games, you crossed my mind. Hey, hope you're doing well. My point is, it really doesn't matter what you say. You've given them so much time and space. This is a Hail Mary. This is the last time you should be proactively reaching out to them. And all you're doing with this text message is you are checking for interest. You need someone who's going to at least meet you halfway and match your interest level. Remember, they left because their attraction dropped. Their interest and investment in you dropped. beyond the point where they wanted to stay in the relationship. The time and space should have done a lot of work for you to raise their attraction to where all you have to do is extend an olive branch. You've given them a chance to do it, but they didn't, which you should take that as a sign they're not that deeply interested. But let's assume that your ex is nervous, they're an anxious type person, and they're not going to make the first move. Fine. You get one message, but it doesn't have to be this extravagant essay and all the mistakes you've made and everything you're changing. You don't want to do that because you want an equal partner. The reason why I mentioned the client from before is after we had our conversation recently, I noticed there were no tangible changes. So even though no contact worked, it reestablished his value and she came back. The issue was he was still the same person. They were still the same people. Okay? No contact, I always say, is not a quick fix. You have to change. If it's still the same people, then sooner or later you're going to go back into the same patterns, the same habits. You're going to keep doing the same things that turned your ex off in the first place, and they will leave. So you must change. Before you send a message, make sure you can take inventory and be honest. But secondly, the reason why you don't have to send anything extravagant, because think about it, you want to come back into the relationship as an equal as much as possible. They dumped you, they're already not coming back, and you're still the one who has to reach out. So technically, you're slightly under them because you're still pursuing, but fine. You don't need to be a dancing elephant or a clown. You don't need to entertain them. All you need to do is extend an olive branch, show interest. Okay, because think about it, if it takes this extravagant text and all of these things to get them just to send you a response like, hey, I'm doing well, so we can actually start a conversation. Think about what the relationship will look like on the back end if you did win them back with these extravagant messages. You're always going to be walking on eggshells because what you're saying is, you're so much better than me, you're so much higher value than me that I have to dance, I have to entertain you, I have to have the perfect message to get you back. And the issue with the perfect message is that coach is not always going to be there. YouTube videos and information is not always going to be there. You want to live a normal life. You want to be yourself. And if you always have to be in your head, you're going to be walking on eggshells. So you should be able to just send them a message from a neutral place, not demanding or expecting anything, not asking them, can we get back together, not forcing a relationship, just opening the door to start a conversation. Hello, how have you been? And ideally, like I said, you want to wait at least 3 to 4 months of distance and make sure you're at a place where you really embrace and take this as a one-time thing. It is a Hail Mary. If they do not answer, that gives you all the answers that you need. Okay? As hurtful as that might be, I really have to say and stress that here. Your value is a non-negotiable. You do not beg and chase. Your value is not a game. Okay? And I understand this. I know you're going through a lot, but I see people, watch the videos or comment because you're looking for a special message to send. Special messages never work. Okay? You can just express, hey, how are you? And if someone is a willing participant, if they're interested, I promise you they will meet you halfway. I've seen it time and time again. And even the client I'm talking about, he messaged first and she accepted him back. The issue was that he was still the same person. And so they kept running into the same issues and cycles, and she left again. Anyway, if you have any questions about your situation, if you need clarity, let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to some of them. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, the quickest way to do so is to click the first link in description and we can talk about your situation. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.